Okay, so here's just an idea that's been in the back of my mind for a little bit here. First off, RTS games like StarCraft are basically impossible to perfectly balance. I think everyone can agree with that, right? You're never going to have it in a place of perfect balance. If two people are playing a mirror matchup, okay, that can be perfectly balanced. If it's an esport like Age of Empires, for instance, where maybe everyone can play every race, uh, yeah, I think that's a different type of balance, but like that is a certain type of balance, right? But then you look at something like StarCraft, where it has these completely different races, and you're never going to get it perfect. You're never going to get it perfect, and I think that people can definitely agree with that. But I think that there's other ways that it can be approached and it can be spoken about. Like for instance, you could when you're talking about the best players and who's the best. Like, yeah, I mean the guy who wins the most tournaments, I guess, is the best. But if the game is imbalanced during certain moments, during certain times, and clearly so, does that still make him the best? Does the best player always win? Or are there times where people just can't overcome something that's imbalanced? So I feel like one way that this could be fixed is to first off speak of the players of the different races uh in this kind of different way where it's like, okay, well, the best player in the world, well, there's three best players in the world: the best Terran, the best Protoss, the best Zerg. And this could be StarCraft 1, that could be StarCraft 2, it could be anything. uh so like you could talk about it like that and be like, yeah, okay, so the best player in the world, there's three of them. Let's take StarCraft 2 for instance right now, like Clem, Cyril, and Hero, right? So that could be one way to kind of inject like an almost artificial balance into it. Obviously, that's just like words. So something I was thinking, because the real problem when you have a game that might have some imbalances in it isn't isn't in the respect given to a player, because sometimes playing on a race that is not as popular, not as powerful, makes you more popular, right? That happened to Idra at the very beginning of StarCraft 2, where because he was playing Zerg and Zerg was seen as very underpowered, he gained a lot more fans during that time because it was so hard to use then. And obviously, we see what happened from there. But, and in fact, I think if you go back to those days, you will find that that was not underpowered. It just took a while to learn. That aside, going on a bit of a tangent there. But yeah, so the big problem with something being imbalanced racially in a game like StarCraft, I think, is in what it does to your career. So, for instance, right, like if Hero is by far the best Protoss player, and there's like four Zergs earning as much or more money than him, and three Terrans, or I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass right now, but right, you kind of get the point. Like if everyone's kind of earning more money, he's having a hard time getting into the round of 8 even. What if we change prize structure so that, for instance, the top like one, two, three, however many, right? Like this could all be up for debate and everything, of a given tournament for each race gets a certain prize, right? So instead of like oh yeah, wow, it's like $1 million prize pool, it's like so much money for the first place. It's like, yeah, well, the player who wins the tournament, I would definitely agree, it deserves the most money no matter what. But what about balancing the prize pool a bit different, right? Like we've definitely seen tournaments where it'll be like a ton of one race in the top 8 or something. And that's like, well, isn't it in a way more impressive? The third highest ranked Terran like made more money than the highest ranked Protoss or something like that. Isn't it in some ways more impressive that the highest ranked Protoss got to the highest rank of his race? He was the best performing of a race. Now, this isn't an argument for exactly how the balance is or has been, but I think if you try to maybe take your emotions out of it and think of it, I feel like this is actually kind of a reasonable thing to do, to give prizes to the top finishers of races, because you look at someone like Hero and it's like, for how well he's performed with Protoss, for instance, shouldn't he have won more money? Let me know what you think.